Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Smile,
shit.
Barry. You're
Yeah,
live.
now I got to get off and click the okay. This meeting's being recorded. What if I said, "Oh no," it says leave. It's get it or leave the meeting. All right.
So where are you are
Anyway,
where yeah.
well, I want to recap what we've been talking about. We've been talking about what does an artist need to know to tell their photographer if they don't know anything about digital images or photography, but they're hiring somebody to photograph their work.
All right. You want my take?
Sure.
Okay. First of all, hiring somebody is one thing. Hiring somebody that's done it before is something else. And here's the reason why you hire somebody instead of doing it yourself. It isn't about saving money because in the long run you don't save money. You hire somebody that knows how to shoot specifically images for
For
jury.
jurying.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's called an investment in your business, and you do that because you'll get it. You have a greater chance of getting in the shows. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can shoot it all yourself with a
Phone.
with a
An iPhone.
iPhone.
She's
You know?
not she's not trying to save money. Her photographer, I think, retired or something. So she was at a loss and she needs images now for jury images.
Yeah,
But
she has a deadline this weekend.
Images now. Well, the only person you can get to do that is
Me.
Larry,
right.
and only if he likes you. If he likes you, you'll get it back like within less than 24 hours.
Ah, I didn't
But
know
you know
that.
what? These photographers, especially commercial photographers, are full of themselves, and they think so they it might be right for them shooting advertising, but we have we're different. We have a specific set of rules, for lack of better
Parameters.
word, right?
Parameters.
Yeah. Okay. Same thing. Yeah. And that's and okay. So why do you the reason why you hire somebody who knows what they're doing in terms of what we're doing is because you want a better chance of getting in the shows. Otherwise, you shoot it yourself and send them in. You know,
And yeah. And
Right.
take your
either
chances.
way, it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
It depends on
Either way.
it depends on two things. It depends on who's jurying, whether they had an argument with their mates that day, or had had a flat tire, or it's snowing, or everything's going wonderful and they're in a great mood. And even then, it's just their opinion. I wouldn't take it too personally if you get rejected, although
But all things being equal,
yes,
you need those professional shots. And
that's right.
that's the
That's
point.
exactly right.
Competition.
Mary,
That
even if they had the fight with their wife or their spouse or their flat tire, they're still going to choose some people and not others.
I know. Well, I think I'm being funny. I'm just,
Yes, we can
I'm
recognize
groping
that.
for a laugh. What can I say?
The things you need to hire somebody that if you hire a commercial photographer, you have to hire a photographer that's done commercial products for advertising purposes. That's where you need to start. And then you have to tell the photographer that the most important thing is in her case, will be the fabric. There needs to be a close of the image, mostly can in the frame, and you need to be able to see the details.
right, the
the
texture. And
the texture.
her shots, they're not really product shots, they're model shots. So that's a whole nother thing,
Yeah.
photographing on a model.
Yeah, except that we're
And
cutting the legs and the heads off each model.
So you
uh-huh.
know what? Would take a magazine with gallery images. Like some of these magazines. I don't know. I just know the Clay magazines, and they have advertising, gallery advertisings in the back or in the front. There's a nice advertising.
Yeah, you
So
look
you
at
take
pictures.
that and you say, I want to duplicate this background, and I want to highlight this, and I want it to be framed this way. That you have to show them, because I'm telling you, they don't know. I've had it. I've taken it to people. The worst experiences I had was taking it to academics. Photography teachers. They want to do it.
Oh,
certain way, and God forbid that you should actually make a suggestion. So I don't do that anymore. You have to take it to somebody that knows what we need. And it's hard to explain it.
Well, we have our parameters, and Zap
Yeah.
even has the specifications on their website. So, I feel like any photographer we use should be familiar with Zapplication.
No, because the thing for SAP is
Please.
you can fix that. You can fix the image for SAP later on. That because you don't shoot for SAP, you shoot for what the best you can get out of the image, and that's not going to
Right,
be
but the
a
jury-
SAP thing.
But the jury
Yeah.
images are mostly on Zap, so there's
Yes, but you're
Um,
not shooting for the for SAP. You're shooting for getting the good image first, and after you get the good image, then you convert it to SAP. But if
Yeah.
you don't have the good image showing the texture, the
Besides,
colors properly, the
Zap-
focusing properly, doesn't matter.
Zap has example images on their website that I shot.
Well, that's
why you
another
take
thing
it to
you can
Larry
use.
Berman, so you don't have to explain
And
it.
and at the time they wanted to pay me for the images. And I said, you don't have to pay me because then I become you.
That's right. You are them.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi,
Hi,
Bonnie.
Bonnie.
Hey, everyone.
Cool.
Hey, Bonnie.
Yeah.
Good thing.
So what I meant, it's been a few weeks.
Okay, well, what we're talking about now is if an artist needs to hire a photographer, what do they need to know to tell the photographer?
I have no idea.
That's right.
Well, it's important. It's important. We're learning how important it is.
Yeah, because
Because-
Karen thought she was going to join the meeting, but she had to go get a chest x-ray. She thinks she might have pneumonia.
Ugh.
Oh, geez.
Wonderful.
But she hired a photographer last week, and it was a nightmare. We were able to get about 8 images out of over 1,000 that he shot for her to
Oh,
use for jurying this, and she has a
You know,
deadline coming up
hey.
this week.
Don't make me laugh while I'm trimming this.
Yeah, I know. And the photographer shot all the pictures. He used the same camera I use, which is 46 megapixels, 8,500 pixels long dimension. And he stuck it on a tripod shooting horizontally, and the model is vertical. And he shot the whole,
Oh, wonderful.
he shot the whole studio with the lights and everything. So when I got the images, and I had to twist his arm to give me the full-size images. And when I
Oh,
cropped them,
yeah.
now we're down to like 21 to 2,300 pixels long dimension.
Hey,
Which-
the last time I had that problem, I used an art student, and he wanted to put copyright things,
Right.
say that they're
Oh.
his. And I said, what planet are you from? Join the real world. Either you're going to do it or you're not. So that
If
didn't
you're paying
happen.
the person to do the job, it's automatically you don't have copyright if you're getting paid for the imaging.
Well, that's true. But at the same time, I got to tell her she needs a contract from now on.
Mhm.
And she needs access to the raw files because all his raw files were over-processed in Lightroom.
Listen, you just need somebody you trust, not somebody that you look in the phone book to, or ask somebody to do this.
Well, where she lives, she doesn't have a choice.
Why?
Well, because she lives on the Oregon coast.
Wait a minute. There's plenty. Why don't you ask
Well-
around in Oregon, west? There's plenty of us that live out there.
Us, meaning you?
Artists, not me. I don't. I pretend.
She said
No,
next time she'd come to my house, but I don't shoot on models, so that I told her no.
Well, the
I got-
last person that she had shooting just did a wonderful job.
Right, but she was experienced. She was a magazine editor. She published her own magazine. Her husband did the photography.
Excellent.
Yeah,
So why can't she use her?
He
Uh,
retired.
They retired.
That's
It's her
rude.
husband.
She needs a
He
new.
They
retired from
retire
being
and
her
move, or
husband.
they just retire?
It sounds really weird.
I
I'm retired. I
think-
can't shoot you, honey. I'm retired. I can't you shoot your images anymore. You have to
Hey.
go to some stranger. That's just sounds
You know,
really weird to me.
But from now on, she needs a contract saying she gets the raw files.
I would
Unprocessed.
agree.
And she needs a new photographer.
Or a new photographer, but she's still gonna need that same contract saying she gets
Right.
the raw files.
Right, right.
See, a lot of photographers don't like giving up their raw files because people will go get prints made and they'll look terrible. And then they'll end up bad mouthing the photographer.
Hmm.
It's a totally different use than what we do.
You know, Larry, maybe what you should do is have you do a consultation and
I tried.
with the photographer before he started.
I wanted to. I told her to have the photographer send me the first image when he was ready to shoot,
He's not going to listen.
and she didn't. I would have told him everything I'm saying now.
Well, so maybe what she needs is for have you interview for her next photographer.
Well, I think that's a given.
Well,
Is she on? Listen, is she on
Would
any
that make
Facebook?
sense?
Like,
What, Barry?
is she on any Facebook like Art Fair Insider? Not. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah,
I can't
she's
believe I
on
said
all
that.
of the groups.
I don't
everywhere.
mean Art Fair Insider. I mean Art Fair Review. Is she on that?
Probably.
Well, then she can have her ask somebody. I live in Oregon. I'm stuck. I need a photographer that knows how to shoot images for art. She'll probably get like 10 different people,
Live model shots.
at least
Yeah.
one. You know.
Live models are really tough. Although I got to give the photographer credit, the model had her hair up. So the model's head can be cut off without leaving hair on the shoulders of her outfits.
That's good.
Yeah, that's the only plus. But he stuck a light up overhead that lit the model's hair.
He
There's got to
clearly
be
doesn't
someone
know.
in Port. There's got to be someone in Portland, you know,
Yeah.
who can do this.
Yes.
Well, but then she has to travel quite a ways, right?
But she lives on the Oregon coast.
Right.
She's
Portland-
not that far, I don't believe.
It's probably a couple of hours.
Done.
Worth it.
Well, it's worth it, yeah, if you find the right photographer.
Right.
I mean,
In
look
the
at how much
meantime,
trouble she's having now.
Boy, that'd be frustrating.
So I'm becoming a bird photographer.
That's good.
Does it pay? Silence.
You know, you could set up if you have like a bird feeder,
I
you could
do.
set up a motion camera that'll
Oh,
take the photograph when the bird lands on
yeah, I don't want the birds in the feeder.
the.
That's
No.
boring. What I've
Where-
been doing is shooting the birds as they've been taking off from the feeder. And then using the patch tool to get rid of the remnants of the feeder on the side of the image.
Oh God.
Hey, what's that tail in the picture, Oscar?
That's Dahlia.
Hey, Ron, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Hope Santa was good to everybody.
Merry Christmas, Ron.
who's
It's been a
that?
while.
That stranger. How y'all doing?
Who's
Do you have
that?
good Christmases? Did everybody have a good Christmas? Tough question.
I
Everything
guess.
was good, quiet, peaceful, no people annoying. I
Cool.
did my duty. I called one person.
That's good. Was like your mother or something? Your father?
No, I just called them and say, Merry Christmas, but I'm not doing anything. I need to rest.
Good. Good.
So I need to figure out something in here because
Frank and
You
Barry,
know-
how was your Christmases? Did you guys get together with family or just enjoy it by yourself?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Should I be polite or should I tell you what I really think?
Tell them what you really think, Barry.
Tell us what we
Come on.
really think. We're your friends. Come on.
Okay. I find
Okay,
that,
you going up.
you know, lately, due to the rabid anti-Semitism, I find it to be almost offensive. Not you. You're not offending me, but I don't celebrate Christmas. In fact, I can't wait till it's over for those stinging commercials and those hypocritical movies and all that crap. I'm glad it's over. You know, I'm not a Scrooge. I'm just ignoring the whole thing. I don't celebrate. Jews don't celebrate Christmas,
Yeah.
nor do they care about it. In fact, what they love, not me, because I don't like Chinese food. They love the Chinese restaurants because they got a place
Yeah.
to go for dinner that night.
Yeah.
That was our family ritual. We used to Christmas Day we'd drive into New York City and we'd go to a Chinese restaurant and it was all Chinese people and Jews.
Yeah, it was great.
It was fun.
See, I
Well,
think-
Justice Elena Kagan, when in her hearings to become a Supreme Court justice, was asked where she was on a specific Christmas, and said, probably in a Chinese restaurant.
I love it. Okay, now the polite answer. Hey, the
No,
Lions won.
no polite answers needed because you know, for me, as one viewpoint, Christmas Christmas is a Christian thing they started, and that's what it's called. But for me, it's never been that. It's always been about family getting together, friends getting together, all the good things about us as people sharing time together. It has nothing to do with the Christian, you know, the Christian stuff. It has to just do with it's the time we get together. That's a holiday. We get time off and we go celebrate however we want to.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
as this Jew always celebrates the American secular holiday called Christmas.
That is, but
Well,
it
well
isn't
stated.
secular.
You know, and that the American secular holiday called Christmas is like a Thanksgiving, like it's family and friends and food. And
Isn't that called
you know, a
Passover?
little bit of the essence of Christianity is taught by that great Jewish rabbi who was crucified, is, you know, kindness and gentleness and peace on earth and compassion and treating people properly. That part of Christmas I cherish.
Yeah. I think
It's,
that's
and
the
it's
essence.
unfortunately
I don't
too
even
much lip
celebrate.
service and not enough practice.
Mhm.
You know, our holidays were, besides Thanksgiving, Passover, Hanukkah to a little, but also breaking the fast on Yom Kippur.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are and I'm sure I'm leaving some out, but those are, yes, we get together on those days, or did. I don't live near my family, so I don't partake. I just like feel weird that I'm not there. You know,
Yeah.
bar mitzvahs, weddings. No, but seriously, it's the Jewish holidays where we get together. But on Christmas, nada.
Well, I try to spend time with Christian friends on Christmas.
Really?
Well, it
see,
seems like Christmas has evolved a lot into the Santa Claus gift giving aspect.
Evolve.
It's almost
My
never
whole life it's been like that.
well, in my life, it's almost never been about the Christian birth or
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we used to celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah when I was a kid because all our neighbors were Catholic. And
Yeah.
As a
it
kid-
was a
as a kid-
close-knit, you know, group of friends on the street where I grew up.
But did you have a tree? You didn't have a tree.
At one time we did,
Really?
but then we also put menorahs and, you know, with the electric candles in the windows.
So was there did you
That's
have
great.
did you have a Jewish community that you lived near then, Larry?
Well, I mean, I used to go to the synagogue. I went, I was bar mitzvah.
Yeah, me too.
We had a Christmas tree one year when I was very small, I think. And, I was very small, so it's a ghost of a memory. And other years it was like, no, we're Jewish, we don't do that. So I don't know why we had it that one year.
Yeah.
When my parents got divorced, we had a Hanukkah bush.
That's
Right.
So where'd Santa come from in all this?
Saint Nicholas.
So it's a Christian thing, Saint Nicholas?
Well, he's morphed from a Christian saint who gave alms to the poor into this pagan demigod who sees you when you're sleeping and knows when you're awake and knows when you've been
That's
better.
pretty creepy, which is pretty creepy, really.
Yeah.
It's only become creepy. Before it was just an innocent.
The
Oh, it's been
difference
kind of creepy.
between Santa
because
and
Santa-
Google and Amazon is shrinking by the day.
Santa used to peek in the windows.
Yeah, pervert.
Well, we used to go to my mother's friend's house for Christmas Eve, and we would help them decorate their tree and go to midnight mass with them. It was a candlelit mass. And I remember at their house, they had shrimp cocktail, which we didn't have that at my house. So that was very special.
That's right.
And then
That's right.
she, at my mother's friend Alice, would give us the best gift in the world. It was all like a huge tray of cookies. It was like the best gift. But so the other evening we had actually a friend who let's see, my mother-in-law's friend who lives here, and her daughter, and they came over, and her husband died surprisingly about 5 months ago. They only moved here a year ago, and so she's still in shock from that. But we must have had a conversation about this because she brought shrimp cocktails to the house, which was
Oh,
like
Tradition.
incredibly
I love
thoughtful.
it.
Well, it's good. She was listening. That's awesome. Yeah.
I
But
love
she was,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really nice. So, we just had a
My
nice
sisters and
dinner
I
with.
had lobster tails for dinner last night.
Ooh, how luxurious.
Mhm.
I made a chicken.
So who's going to tell Karen what we discussed? Since she just joined us.
Hey Karen,
We-
how are you?
I'm
Excuse me.
a little under the weather, but I'm managing. Thank you.
Did you get the results of your x-ray?
Yeah, it's not pneumonia. It is a bronchial infection. So,
Okay.
So antibiotics will cure that.
I have been running around taking care of everybody else. And I guess it caught up with me. Yeah.
It always does.
So we were discussing your woes with your photographer as I joined.
Uh,
Yeah,
Oh, is
Ron
it
missed
Karen?
that.
It's Karen's.
So I suggested, and Larry said, of course, that's going to happen, is that the next time you want to hire a photographer, you have Larry interview him for you.
Right.
No, actually, you need a contract saying that you get access to the raw files.
yeah. Well, again, it's the vocabulary. I'm the artist. I need the images. I don't want to know how to be the photographer. So I think I need a checklist. So when I start the station with the photographer, we have an understanding, because there's so much to know about this.
Karen, how far are you from Portland?
2 hours.
So I know it's not helpful for this batch, but if you found a photographer in Portland who knew what they were doing, so like knew the gist of photographing your work, would that be an option for you?
I think I would still have the same education process, Allison.
Why don't you ask Carla Fox or one of your?
Well, Carla shoots her own.
Yeah, but hers is easier.
Well, it's jewelry.
Yeah,
but
it's
she shoots her own jewelry.
yeah.
You're
No, it has to be
affiliated
someone
with
who
that.
knows. You know, it has to be someone who knows model shots. I mean, I know someone
Yeah.
here who's fantastic, but that doesn't help you. I mean, like you need a photographer who knows
Special-
what they're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody that does the American Craft Council shows?
Well, yeah, I know Kathy Hutchison, who's also a weaver, but she's been using the same images, which are beautiful images. She's been using the same one for years.
Oh.
Probably can't find a new photographer.
Well, it's hard to find the right one for wearables.
Right.
For anything.
Yeah, so I'm going to try and do this again in a few months if I can get my loom threaded and new stuff woven. And I would like to continue to work with this photographer because he's willing. We just have to have an understanding about how it's going to go. A better understanding.
Ron,
Yeah.
your disembodied head is slightly uncomfortable, but when your eyes disappear and I'm seeing the background in the middle of your head or in the middle of your
Yeah.
mouth, it's really weird.
It's
Okay.
very creepy.
Yeah.
That's better.
How do I fix that other than getting my face really close to the screen? That's creepy too. It's like, geez, maybe this is like the Santa peering in the window.
Well,
Hey, what's going on in there?
Actually, go into your settings and just put it on blur, and
Okay.
then your background will just be a blur.
Go into my settings. So that sounds really good. Join me. Let's see.
Same place where you added the picture you have now.
Okay. Same place. Where was that? Say that again.
Same place where you have the how you added the picture you're using now for the background.
I
If
did
you-
that. So,
If you put your mouse over your face, Ron, there should 3 dots should pop up and you click
Yeah.
on that. And you click on the 3 dots and there should be controls that you can see there.
oh, like blur my background.
Yeah.
Okay. I did. Blur my background.
There it
Ah,
is.
much better.
That's better. Okay.
You look like a
Oh.
human being again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
As,
welcome.
as opposed to some ghostly apparition.
Yeah, it was creepy.
Wizard of Oz, right?
Cool. Well, thanks for getting me on course here, on track.
You're such a nice person. I don't want to think of you as this ghoulish apparition.
Well, thank you. That's better than
Wrong
that.
holiday.
Pardon?
Wrong holiday. That would be more for Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Halloween you could do that. I would still be creeped out, but at least it would be seasonally appropriate. Very on Christmas.
That's great.
Oh
What's-
God! For a slow way
What's
to a
everybody
super
doing the rest of
disability.
this between now and New Year's, or have New Year's plans? You know, gonna stay home and be quiet, or you gonna-
New Year's.
Amateur night,
amateur night?
that's what I call it.
Okay, explain. That sounds good.
You could count on people drunk driving on New Year's Eve, right?
I
That would
know.
be one.
Well, I have a birthday on January 2nd, so we're focusing on
Oh.
what we do on January 1st.
Happy
Hey,
You're the second person I know with a January 2nd birthday.
yeah, mine's
My
on
hair, my hair.
13th.
Oh, you're a 13th.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I know a lot of 13ths. I'm a 13th, but a different month. But
I'm a 13.
you're a
September
13?
13th. September.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have an acquaintance
But
whose
it's-
birthday is Christmas Eve. She's Jewish, so it shouldn't matter that much, except she's married to a Christian, so it matters.
It also would affect the gift situation.
Yes, it's that's a
Always.
good-
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
when
a
you have
disadvantage.
birthday.
And then just to make it worse, she got married around the holidays too. So her anniversary and Christmas and her birthday are all like within a week.
Oh, geez.
That was efficient, right?
Yeah,
Good
The
planning.
good thing about it, you spend all the money in one month, and you don't have to remember about anything else.
This
for the
meeting
rest
is
of the year.
being recorded.
It's been a little bit of a difficult month for me. We're going to come out of it all right, but our cat of 15 years has left. She's dead. She
Aw.
died. We're mourning
I'm
her
so
loss.
sorry.
Oh,
Nick came down with COVID, which was unexpected. He's managed to not get it until now. And so kind of went to a hypervigilant stage of getting, quarantine and getting him through that. And we did, and he's fine. And then my friend had her hip replaced, and she is a new widow. So I reached out to her and said that I would be her go-to person. So I brought her down from Portland to her living situation and is closer to us. And it's definitely the right place for her to be because it's all one level. And she's recovering from that. So I'm dropping in, making sure she's got everything she needs until she's able to drive because it's her right leg. But it's kind of tough to go through the surgeries when you're, just one person. You don't have family around you to help be an advocate, to take the extra steps. But we'll get through it. And now I've got this bronchial thing. And I had a photo shoot and a deadline. So boom, boom, boom. I haven't really had chance to rest. I'd like some time off. And I think that only hope happens when I'm away from the studio. We'll see. Oh yeah, and the power went out. And
Yes, that's
yeah,
right. The power went out.
farmers blew. It was so unexpected. And I was sewing this one last coat for the photo shoot. And what was I going to do? So I did get out my trusty lithium battery and plugged in the sewing machine and some floodlights and managed to get that coat finished for the photo shoot. But on a personal level, my husband and I were very pleased that we had the house connected to a generator, which we were able to start, which meant the refrigerator was running and we had lights. You don't have heat, but you have the wood stove. And it was just one of those things that happens out here on the coast. When the power goes out, you need a plan B. And we've lived here long enough. We finally have plan B ready to turn on. So again, part of being an art fair artist is you have to have resources. You have to be resilient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does the power go out?
A tree fell across a line, which pulled the line down on several poles. And then the power lines were in the roadway. But I had happened to I got up at 5 a.m. and I saw this strange light in the sky, and I knew that it was fire. It was electric. And then of course the power went out. But it happened and it hit the whole county. So boom, 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 everybody's power was out. But the emergency crews responded, and a few hours later, I guess we were okay. I just kind of had to get my thing done. Good old Yeti battery. It was pretty helpful.
Excuse me.
So that's been my
Well,
December.
I put in a whole house generator back. There was a point in time a couple years ago that I was on oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't stay on it. But because of that, it was going to be kind of important.
Of course it was.
So,
Yes.
And I'm in the middle of the city, but we used to kill squirrels at the local transformer with some regularity. So do you know, since that time, well, maybe it's been like 5 years, we've lost our electricity 3 times for less than an hour each time. So I want my neighbors to thank me, because once I got that, we no longer lose our electric. Small price to pay.
Yeah, it's the way it goes, isn't it?
There was a man who wrote a humor column for the New York Times op-ed page for many decades named Russell Baker. And there was a major drought in New York, and then it rained, and he wrote an apology. He said, "I've been carrying this umbrella for months. And it's clearly my fault because the day I left it home was the day it finally rained.
Yeah,
So I apologize to all of you for carrying the umbrella. I won't do
isn't
it."
that the truth?
That's
That's
great.
good.
A good way to look at it. So Allison, thank you for asking us as board members to reach out and do a reminder about the early application deadline. I did that
Mhm.
on the day the power went out, and
I
I was
did, yeah.
entertained to see the increase of number of hits on that Instagram post. It's
Uh-huh.
you never really know how far out it goes, but I could tell that a lot more people had looked at it than
Mhm.
some of the things I've posted.
Is that Bend?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I started the application. Now that I have a
Well,
newer vehicle, I'm thinking about
well,
driving it.
apply by December 30th and you'll save $10.
I know I'm planning on it.
That's great.
Of course, I don't know if I'm good enough to get in, but I love throwing my money away, so it's not going to bother me.
Barry, that pot is almost as big as you are.
It's an illusion. This one's bigger than the last one, the first one I had. You know, it's interesting. In the wintertime, it's so dry and so cold that I can't leave the pots out. But this week, it's been raining, so it's humid. So now that they won't dry fast enough. So, you know, things happen.
Well, I have with Larry's help, hopefully I'll be ready to be a part of the mock jury, and you folks can help me decide about the new images.
Good.
I'm working on it. I might have to put up 2 different sets.
Oh, you're gonna put up your images, not be one of the judges.
No, I'm gonna put up right.
I think that's a good idea because you need eyes that aren't as familiar with it and won't see the things that might be missing or added, or it's
Yeah.
just a fresh
Yeah.
set of eyes.
Allison is the one who reminded me that even though my previous images are strong images and do represent my work, that she was looking for some new images. And so I'm really making that effort, Allison.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
been quite a journey.
I was
Um,
once, a long time ago, I was on a jury and there was a photographer and I remember one of the jurors, or no, the director of the show said, this person shows the same images every year. She got in,
Ugh.
but it was like the director noticed that that the images were the same for like 10 years or something. So
it is an interesting conundrum is that we have the good images. It represents our work. It gets us into shows. But yet it also means that you have to have the work in the booth. Therefore, you don't spend as much time creating the new work. And
Yeah.
with me, my journey has been I'm constantly doing the next thing that fascinates me. And
right.
we'll just have to see if it is as compelling as the images I've used before. So
I'm
and
sure, the thing is the work evolves anyway. And
Yeah.
like I'm getting new images all year round. And then when it's time for shows, I'll put all of the images that I think look good into a file, like tentative jury images. And, Eric and I look and we quickly rule certain things out. Plus, you want that balance. You don't want all necklaces or all, And so, from there, I tend to have a lot of good choices, and really just end up working on the balance of what the items are. So, but it's anyway, for me, it ends up being kind of a year-round process. So now like I started applying to shows when in the fall, and I've used the entire set, even though I have a new image that's a really strong image, but I don't want to use it because it's the same exact stones as a necklace. And, you know, it's again, keeping that
Yeah.
variety. But so then it, like, you know, after I've overanalyzed everything, it kind of releases me from that. And I just sort of, you know, whatever, you know, some shows want 4, some want 5. Some
Right.
even want 6, but so I just plug all this. So now I've applied to everything, and I'm just waiting at this
Mhm.
point. But anyway, you know, because of my situation that Eric takes the photographs, when I make new things, he'll photograph them, and of course, then we could see, you know, certain ones are more photogenic than others. Like, you know, some pieces could be great in person, but
Yeah.
they just don't, they're not as strong, you know.
Can I ask you a question though? Say you use a set of images and it gets you into a show you really wanted to get into. And the next time you apply to that show, you use different images, new images, and you get juried out. How do you interpret that?
Well, I pretty
Different.
much have new images each year, although this year it's the first time I've ever done this. There's one piece that I'm using again, so it'll be the second year. And but as far as interpreting it, I don't know, because I could have used, if I used the same images, the same thing could have happened. I feel
Yeah.
like it's because it's a new jury. So
Yeah.
it's kind of, I mean, I don't know. I can't control that. You know, some years I get, like the year before, let's see, 2022, I had 2 shows and 2 wait lists, and I got in off the wait list. I only did 4 shows, where this past year I did 8 shows. And so, I mean, that's why I apply to so many shows, because I don't know what I'll get into or not. And it's, I think it's beyond my control. So yes, I could use those same images I used last year, but I still might not get in. But I don't have a way of knowing.
Okay, but the example then that you gave of the, I guess it was a show director that said that artist that you were going to be jurying submits the same images every year, correct?
But like for 10 years though,
But-
I mean, it's,
yeah,
you know,
but
not a
she
reasonable
does.
amount of time.
But there's been no downside to her because she always gets juried in, right? So if she changes the images, then she changes the outcome potentially pretty strongly.
Maybe. Yeah.
But with a
Not
new jury,
necessarily.
with a new jury, you're always changing the outcome, if you think about it that way.
Hey,
Every
when
year there's a new jury.
when I started scanning slides for artists in 2004, I had people send me Kodachromes from 1983.
Wow.
So they've been using the same slides for over 20 years.
Mhm.
And it still gets them into shows, right?
Well, I guess.
You know,
It's a pretty big investment for a wearable artist to have a photo shoot. I just want you guys to know that. It is, the cost of it is a lot higher. Because you have to hire the model, you have to hire the studio and the photographer, and then the
Yeah.
editor.
Yeah, but it seems to me one of the things with the jury process is that when artists get into the shows, and we're not given any feedback as to how the jury felt about our images, either our artwork images or our booth images. It's always like, well, if you didn't get in this year, probably next year we'll have a different set of jury eyes. But once you get in, and then if you use the same images and you get in again, and then there becomes a negative to saying, well, I should apply with new images because it may change the outcome, and I don't want to change the outcome because I'm having success getting into the show. Now, there are
Isn't
shows
that a
that will
trap?
say,
That's logical.
pardon?
On
Isn't
the
that
other,
a trap?
I'm sorry, what?
it depends on the other applications, your competition.
No, but if you're getting in every year with the same images, that's the only information you have, is that you're getting in. Either different juror eyes like that work, or some of the same jurors are seeing it, and it's getting you back in. Whatever the outcome is, you're getting back into the show, which is what you want to do, right?
But
You know what?
isn't
what my concern is as a juror, when I see people using the same images over and over and
Right
over,
there. How do you know they're using the same images?
because I've seen them, different shows that I've juried, but I've been
Wait a minute.
You're
jurying
familiar with the
forever.
artist. You're
No, well, I
familiar
don't
with the
even know who
artist,
the
so-
artist is. The one I'm thinking of,
Ah.
I have no idea who this is. It's a
Uh-huh.
jeweler. But
Wait a
my
minute.
concern is, isn't their work changing? I did new images every year because my work changed,
Right.
and I wanted to show the newest, the bestest and
Yeah.
greatest or whatever.
That's why I was nervous about using one of my images as that I used last year or this year. But sometimes it's just a matter of how all the
It's
colors look together, how
what
you know,
fits
and
together.
right.
Yeah.
And so, and I've
But
never done that
sometimes,
before.
but sometimes
Well, Allison,
we
it
as
seems to
artists,
me there's a profound difference between using one image 2 years in a row and using 5 images 5 years in a row.
unless
10
it,
years.
Absolutely.
but if it
15
always
years.
Ron,
if it always gets you into that show, what's the downside to it? Because
the
yes,
downside is that if your work has evolved and at some point the shots aren't representative, and then you could be in trouble as having faked.
Yeah,
if show
Right.
jurors, if show managers directors come around with the images you submitted and say, boy, these look nothing like what you have in your booth. But I think myself and artists that I know across the board, that is such an incredibly small number of times in the history of their doing art shows that anybody comes around and checks to make sure either your booth slide looks like what you actually are setting up, or what your work looks like, what you're actually putting into your booth. That if the slides get you into the show, that's the only point at that point in time that you're trying to accomplish, is into the show. Now,
But
I'm
You'd
not
be
saying that-
surprised.
I do police with the jury image. I mean, Art in the High Desert does it. St. Louis does it. The shows
Quite a
that
few. Quite a
You'd
few
be
shows have-
shocked how many shows do it, and you're just not aware of it.
do what?
Yes.
Wait, what are they
Yes.
doing?
Checking
They
your
compliant-
images
they're
against
compliance
what your
officers.
booth looks like.
Oh.
have you
they're
experienced that,
compliance
Barry?
officers.
I don't have any problem because
No. I'm not asking. Have you ever experienced show staff coming around looking at the work in your booth, comparing it to a printout of what you submitted?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lakefront did
I
that.
have too.
I like that.
Many times. I love it
Yeah,
because I
St. Louis,
match.
come around, The
Right.
one I
So-
specifically remember is St. Louis, but I know there's other ones where they come around every
Lakefront-
day to make sure that the
Lakefront did
quality
it.
on the second or third day is as good as the first day.
Run and
Yeah.
then and a show this year that told me you're with the new set of images. To answer the question you'll be talking, I changed my images based if I'm getting to the shows that I want, and if I have a better set of images than the year before. If I think that this new image are a stronger image than what I had before, that's what I would use. And I was trying to tweak out the images, squeak out of the set and put in something better in there. The other thing that happened to me in one show was I used to year with the rocks, and then I switched the year with the reflections in the water. It's still stuff in the water, and the director came and said to me, "I'm kind of glad that you're showing your new work and you still have your old stuff hanging."
Mhm.
Nice.
Here's the problem with some of that.
You know,
Some of the it might be different, but it might be subtle. It could be a color change. It could be the forms are a little better. It doesn't have to be a radical change to evolve. And because that's the way I learn. And my images
Yeah.
don't. My work doesn't change from year to year in terms of the actual images, except they're better, they're stronger, the colors are better. I might do a
It's
little
an
different
evolution.
and I'd hate to think that, oh, he's doing the same thing he always did. That just means they're not savvy enough, they're not educated enough to actually know what I'm doing, because it's always
no, they
evolving.
don't pay. And it's not that, Barry. It's that they don't pay attention to the piece close enough.
Don't you
to
think
see
that they
the-
should pay attention? Or know what
There
they're
was
looking at if
also-
you're going to be a judge?
To the subtleties in a matter of just seconds.
I know,
Your-
I know, I know.
Your
It's a,
work,
that's why I'm
Barry,
laughing about this, because
but
yeah.
your work changes. I
So,
don't
excuse me,
think
there was
there's
also,
anything subtle. Your work changes year to year.
Oh, that's really that's funny. That just shows you how little I'm in tune with it, because I think it's pretty much always the same, but it's subtle differences. I'm glad you said that.
Mm.
Ron,
Hey, guys,
the other
I
thing
gotta go.
about using the
I
same
wanna-
images for 10 years, sorry, Karen.
I was just wanted to say, I wanted to check in, say hi, but now I gotta go get some pharmacy stuff. And I look
all right, you
forward to
take
seeing
care.
you on Thursday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
feel
I
better.
hope you
Right.
feel
You take
better.
Yeah,
care of
good seeing
yourself.
you.
I will. Okay,
Take care.
bye-bye.
So the other thing, Ron, about using the same images year after year is that you might feel that you have to reproduce the same work year after year, and eventually you become a technician and not an artist.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Have to disagree with that. I think what we face as artists in trying to get into art shows is the jury process. How do we get our work past the jury? And we get no feedback to say, well, this is what the jurors liked about what you did. This is what the jurors didn't like about what you did, yada, yada, yada. And I remember, and Larry, you can jump in on this too. Years ago when they used to have open juries and you'd sit there and you'd listen to the jurors talking amongst themselves as they were looking at the jury images. And I was always left with the thought that there's no, pardon the French, fucking way that I'm ever going to understand what it is that they are looking at, because they're all over the charts. Some were like, well, they had horizontals and verticals mixed. Well, they
Yeah.
had 3 still lifes and one landscape, and that these were all negatives to them. On and on and on and on. So when you hit that sequence of images that the jurors said, we like this, and you have no idea whether the promoter actually is honest and straightforward, and when they say, well, we have different jurors every year, but do they really have different jurors every year, or are all the
Yes.
jurors different?
Yes,
No, all
most of the
shows
time they do.
all
Most
shows
of the
do
time they
that.
do.
All
If
shows
they
do.
say they do, then they do.
Why do you think that?
If they don't say
Because
anything,
they actually tell you the names of the jurors.
yeah,
And
In some
so you
places,
can
yeah.
compare one year to another.
yeah.
Do all shows that you do tell you who the jurors are?
Yeah, except for the fiasco with Coconut Grove and St. Louis Art Fair. I don't know if they're going to keep doing that because of Mike Grosser crap.
What was that? What are you talking about? Oscar,
Oh,
what were you talking about?
You're being recorded.
I don't know. They always do that. They always tell you who the jurors are for the shows. But there's a couple of shows that are in the fence about saying who's going to be the jurors now. One is Coconut Grove, and another one is St. Louis Art Fair because of the fiasco with Mike Grosser this year. So
People
that's,
listen
I
to
think
him.
the Coconut Grove didn't announce who were the jurors. I just find out later on who they were the jurors. And
what
I
what
don't
was
know
the
if it's St. Louis.
fiasco?
The fiasco?
Yeah.
The thing that he was complaining that people, they've been doing the show forever, they got booed out and they put people in there. There's the cool kids group that get into the show. That's what people, the people that do the big shows are only the people in NIA and all the other stuff going on. So it's just a lot of BS, but that's
Yeah,
it. It's
you
point
know
of
what?
view.
There's some truth to what he's saying, but the solution is become one of the cool kids. Don't be antagonistic. You're not helping. Do yourself a favor, because even if he'll be really nice for the next 10 years. He's got this reputation that probably won't go away. So,
You know,
and I
that's
don't
what
think what
we
he's
Well-
saying is fair. He's been saying it for a long time.
Oscar, you
that's
put
what
up,
we talked
I
about
think
last
it was, I think it was you that
What?
put up the images from Coconut Grove last year, the booth images,
Yeah.
didn't you? That was absolutely brilliant if people were paying attention. Because if you see, like, is it William Kidd?
Yeah.
His booth image, and then you see well, anybody else. I mean, there's just the people that are getting in are the ones that take the time to make the whole package. You know, the work, the booth, the story. You know, I just thought that was probably one of the most educational things I've seen in a long time when you put those up.
Hey,
But I
Bonnie?
hope people picked up on it.
Sorry.
I just think that, you know, whenever I got the time to walk around, I'd like to see what other artists are doing. It's not for copying their work or anything else. It's just to see the presentation. And quite honest, from all the shows that I did last year, Coconut Grove was one of the shows that I thought by far the best one in terms of people in the show. It was probably, I was feeling proud to be there, flat out, because I thought that
Yeah.
everybody in there, it was really, really good. The whole presentation, and that's why I spend so much time in the layout, the presentation. I try to do the best I can. I spend the money and the presentation, and think what I'm doing. And even if there are things that people say to me, probably you shouldn't do the French door in the front, even it looks really good in the corner. I'm going to adjust that for Florida to see if it makes any difference. But it's just, you have to listen to what other people and see what other people are doing. You have to be polite to the directors. You cannot be an asshole to the directors. You have to be nice to all the other artists, because you don't know if that person's going to judge you 2 years later on. And the part about being nice, it's not so much when you get right into the show. I said this in the NIA meeting last weekend. It's when you're in the wait list and everything's equal.
Yep.
Then the director is going to pick up the person that she likes better, because that's when she can use her power and her preference and decision. If you don't get along with the directors, you're not polite with the directors. I don't mean that you have to kiss ass or anything like that. You have to just treat them like a human
people.
being. Yeah.
But are you saying that the director, regardless of the jury scores, is going to choose who she wants to, not based on jury score? Is
We're
there
talking
No, I
wait
didn't say
list.
that. No,
I know, that's what
wait
I'm
list.
talking about. On the wait list, everybody
We're
on the wait
taking
list has
two
a
people,
score.
we're taking two photographers
Right,
that
but they
have
have
the
scores.
same score,
Okay,
and they're both
Yeah.
on the waiting list. So
Okay.
you've got this person and that person. You have to figure out which one would be the best fit for the show.
right.
If somebody's given me a batch of shit every year, and
Yeah.
this person has just been normal, which one am I going to choose? Am I going to invite batch of shit, or am I going to invite the nice person?
Well, but you're okay, but your scenario is that all other factors are equal. Okay.
Right.
And
That's what Oscar said.
Yeah.
so that's what you
You
had
know,
said. I'm sorry, I missed that part.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
what
I
I
Even
said.
if they're not
Everything
perfectly
is
equal,
equal.
even if there's one tiny bit of difference in the score, that might still the behavior of the artist might still outweigh it. You're
Yeah.
not going to take a much worse artist over a much better artist over personality. But
Well, if the
if it's
artist,
close, they will.
why doesn't the show just address the artist and say, you know, you're not welcome in our show? We have plenty of artists that'll fill that spot. Your attitude,
Lawsuits.
you know, just
They
put
will
them
not do
on the
Yeah.
blacklist. Tell them to put on the blacklist.
Lawsuits.
What?
lawsuit.
You can't do
It's a
that.
lawsuit.
Look
Why?
at,
Why can't you
because
do
get
that?
they open themselves up to a lawsuit. You can't do it.
I want to be able to back up every person that I've put in and the decisions I've made, that they've all been as fair as humanly possible, or at least as possible, as fair as I can make them.
Yeah.
So that everyone has an equal chance to get in.
There's always going to be some bias because you're more familiar with certain artists' work. And to say it doesn't have an influence, it's wrong. It does have an influence, but it's okay because it's the same for everybody. That never bothers me.
You know, the other thing that I learned this year was I was talking to Thomas, the guy that does discussion in aluminum, and he
Hey.
was saying the more important thing is when you get a neighbor that you know that do jewelry, to ask them their opinion about your work, because it's a different thing to see it in person than seeing it when that you're in the process. If the person has seen your work in person, most likely you're going to get a higher score when they see it in the jewelry process, because they know the quality of the work. It's a lot of little things that I cannot tell you how much I learned this year about little things in here and there. It's little details that escapes people most of the time, and it can make a difference. I might not be able to get to all the shows that I want to, but at least I'm trying to do the best I can to get better when I'm doing.
I have a question to pose to the group about this. You have a friend that's that you consider a friend that's on the jury, and you get either rejected or on the wait list. And then you see that person, and you know you're going to see them, and you see them somewhere. How do you treat them? How do you act towards them?
The
You
same
don't
as
say
always.
anything. Right. I mean, if you're
They may
kind,
not even know that you didn't get in or that you got waitlisted.
I would think that they. Oh,
I don't know. After I've juried a show, if somebody got nothing but top scores, and I knew that, but I don't know how I'd know that. I only know my scores. There's no way for me to know until I see the final results, like at the show or on their website. There's no way for me to know if somebody got in or got waitlisted or.
That's right.
But I do remember the time that I was a juror for Boston Mills, and I learned an extremely good lesson. We knew who was in and out by the time the jury was all done. We went back through it all. And a very close friend of mine had gotten in, and I knew he was going to be just beyond whatever.
Yeah.
And so I told him, but I didn't take into consideration how many clay people there were. And he was waitlisted.
Who was
He
the
really
juror? I mean, who was the director then?
It probably would have been Ron.
Or was it Don Getz?
No, I
Boston Mills?
think it was Ron. Yeah. So it was
Ron.
I very much learned a good lesson. Just because you can leave there thinking that somebody is in, out, waitlisted, does not mean that when they tally up the numbers and find out that they have 352 potters, and no matter how high your score was, there's a good chance you're going to get waitlisted. It doesn't
that's a
mean.
hideous.
Hey,
That's a hideous thing to have happened to you.
speaking
Oh,
of
I
Boston
learned a good
Mills,
lesson.
Yeah.
Hey, the
how do you
reason
feel
why I asked
about
that
Ron
question is
saving a
because
space for himself?
Say that?
Speaking of Boston Mills, how did Ron used to give himself a space in the second weekend?
I never knew him to give himself a space.
Yeah, he was a painter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
no,
I did the second weekend forever.
Yeah,
He-
and I did
he
too. I
did
don't
it-
remember that either.
He
Yeah.
did it every year that I knew.
No, I don't buy that.
I
By
can
the
tell
way-
you that when Don, the reason why I asked that question is when Don Getz ran it, I got in every year, won awards, and when Ron Bean, all of a sudden I was on the wait list every year
And why did you think that was?
because I don't think he liked me.
But
By
that
the way,
means
I
he
just want to
subverted
say
his own. That means he subverted
an-
his own jury process for
It
personal.
was listen, it was based on how he interacted with me at the show.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. You see, I keep telling you, Barry, but you too an old
I
dog
love
to
it.
be-
I love it.
there's another reason why there are compliance officers. Also, there was a problem for a while there, some years back, where people would jury in with certain images and then bring very inexpensive stuff to the show.
Oh, I hate
And
that.
Yeah.
Big in the jewelry world.
In the
Well,
jewelry world, you got people buying handmade stuff from other places, and the quality is really good. It's just that they didn't make it, and I know
Right.
this for a
Well-
fact. I know people that did that.
Yeah,
You can
that's a
tell me
problem
later
too.
who it was.
No, I'm not telling anybody anything. It's been a while, but still.
well, everybody, Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
I
Happy
will
New
see
Year.
you all.
Great to
Happy
see
New
you,
Year.
Frank.
Happy
Know
New
when I
Year,
will see
Frank.
you all next, but it will be next year.
Okay.
And
Isn't that crazy?
next week and the next year is good to all of you.
Same to
Thank you. You
And I'm out
too,
here
Frank.
too. See y'all
Here's
later.
hoping. Here's hoping.
Yes, here's something.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Bye, Frank.
Hey, you know what I've done lately, and I shouldn't even say this, but I don't care. I'll just say it anyway. I've applied to some new shows. The shows themselves aren't new, just me applying to them. So I've taken images that I've had for a long time that I always really liked that didn't use. I used them before, but I stopped using them. I retired them. I actually used images from like 10 years ago that were really nice pieces, and I not not all of them, but I would put one or two in, well, maybe just one in between, and I've liked that. I mean, you look on the. It used to say, and some shows I guess still do. You have to have something that you've done in the last 3 years, but there are plenty of shows that don't say that anymore. So I just use those images, and people don't, they don't know. It's been so long that they don't know that that's how old it is. So I've actually done that,
But
and
if
worked.
it's still current, if it's
Yeah.
still current with your current work, that I didn't come out quite right. But if it's still current with your work,
Yeah,
no issue from me.
in some case, it's better than the stuff I'm doing now, And I go, oh, I must be, losing it or something because they're really good pieces. They've stood the test of time. I like that. You can't take this stuff too seriously, and where I used to take it really seriously. If I didn't get into a show, oh man, it was like I never made a voodoo doll and stuck pins in it, but I wanted to, So what's wrong with these people?
Well, it's hard because I think you learn that over time.
Yeah.
I've gotten into some of the best and I've gotten rejected from some of the
You're right.
worst.
I know.
And it just doesn't,
Doesn't
I
make
don't
any
know.
sense.
Who
It
No.
left?
doesn't-
Oh, Ron just left.
Yeah, but he just sort of blinked off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bye, Ron.
Maybe-
Byron.
Maybe just disconnected or he lost power.
Does court have a meeting tonight
Yeah.
Yes,
at 8 o'clock Eastern
yes.
or 7 o'clock?
8 o'clock
8
Eastern.
8 Eastern, okay.
8 Eastern for the Tuesday show, the other Tuesday.
Yeah,
It's,
I thought it was
Well, he changed it, I guess.
I don't know. I thought, it's every Tuesday now,
no,
No,
except
there's two
it's
different.
it's
different
every other.
groups.
And then the NAIA
NAIA.
is on the night that he is not,
Right, right.
but that's different.
Still the same,
I-
some of the same people.
Yes. I wish we could get more people on that. And
We could get more people here.
good point.
yeah.
I don't know.
Hey.
I don't quite understand it, but
It's dueling Zoom meetings.
I don't know.
I just,
I just
see the
enjoy.
value.
Yeah.
I
I
enjoy
think people
seeing
see the
all your
value.
smiling faces.
Yeah,
Me
every
too.
once in a while, I'll post on Mark's forum or on the jury image evaluation forum about the Zoom meeting. And occasionally we'll get a person here and there.
What
I tell
happened to
people
the
who have-
woman? Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. I tell people who have no experience, and I can't be the only person that they're talking to about it. That's what I like about this group, and I try.
Come on and ask questions.
Absolutely.
That's where
Yeah,
we can be invaluable to you.
yeah. I don't think there's
Mhm.
enough people that, it's like they're afraid to ask, get on and ask questions.
Where are all the emerging artists that Naya was supposed to support?
They're working on it. They're
Because
developing
this
a
is
program.
Perfect place for them, along
Yeah.
with some of the other groups.
Right.
Except I hate to see them scared off. Is going on with my
Well, we'll have
face.
to
You
mute
know what?
Barry.
That's personal. You know what? If they're afraid, they shouldn't be doing it anyway. I wasn't afraid, when I got on. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I went with all these people that, knew what they were doing. It didn't bother me. I mean, well, I might have been a little embarrassed, but that's how I got better, Oh, look at all these really good people. And here I am with my wood table covered with some hokey material, with a few pieces on them. I mean, there was a big difference between that, the first one and the second one, or like over time getting better and going, oh, look at how professional they are, and look at how unprofessional I am. But it's personal. You just do it. It's like getting on a diving board and taking the dive. You got to do it, and you can't worry about who's going to like it, who isn't going to like it. The only way you get
Or
better
people
is by
might not
doing it.
know. People might not know, and then, in the first place about this.
Well, we're considered Allison, not you, but we're considered, the old people that aren't in tune with what's going on today.
I mean,
That's
you know what
bullshit.
helps me a lot is every time I post an image in Facebook, once in a while they post the image that you have from 6 years, 7 years ago, and then you
Oh,
see
right.
that image, and then you look at your booth now, and you go like, how in the hell I used to get into with that? What the hell
Right.
I was thinking?
Well,
Actually,
hey,
it was
my first slides were shot on a Bounty paper towel
wow.
and just my own camera. This little teeny tiny ring
The
on this
quicker
big
picker
white
upper.
paper towel.
The quicker picker upper.
Yep.
Mhm.
It
Mine were
had
on
nice
rusted
texture.
steel.
There
Right.
may be a problem
sure.
for emerging artists in that they're working a quote real job, and the fact that this is in the middle of the workday for anybody east of the or west of the Rockies might have something to do with that.
That's a very good point.
'Cause
But
it's
they can
not
watch it.
when it starts.
They can watch it
There are
recorded.
There are a lot of people. If you look at the stats, how many times the meetings are viewed?
Well, what's the
Yeah.
number?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying the stats are available. Let's go see. Let's see.
Well, I posted about Larry's jury thing on the Comic-Con art show Facebook page, but
Good.
most people that do the convention art shows aren't really doing
Okay,
standalone ones.
Yeah.
it looks like we're running between 50 and 75 or between 50 and 100 each week.
Of
That's
what?
not bad.
Here?
People that are viewing it on YouTube.
Really? Oh,
Wow.
on YouTube. Well, since they're going to see this, get your ass over here and get live. Go on YouTube.
Well, again, they may be at work,
Yep.
so they can
Okay.
pay the rent and groceries.
Really? Hey, I got a question. Do you? I've been doing this lately. I've been revisiting concepts that I have. You know, like you start and you have an idea and you kind of develop it, but then you move on to something else. And what I'm doing is I'm going back. Well, I just wanted to see. It started out where I just wanted to see what I did before because I had images and stuff. And I'm going, that idea was great. I'm going to start doing that again, except that I have way more experience. So hopefully they'll be better.
Yeah.
I've gone back and revisited like really old pieces
Yeah.
and did them to my today standards.
Yeah.
Or
And
sometimes,
it's
sometimes there's
fun.
just elements.
Exactly.
Funny. Yeah. I did that a lot during the height of the pandemic. I had all these mock-ups of things, and then I had time to actually kind of pursue them. But yeah, sometimes there's an element from an older design or some general concept, and it is it can have another life as a variable from what it was.
Yeah.
Well, I've reclaimed yarn from previous projects.
Recycling.
Yeah, well, some of them I haven't used the yarn again, but I pulled apart the item.
Hey, meanwhile, I got to say this. I really love the people that come here on Tuesdays. I think you're all really great.
We like you too.
Yeah, he says that to
I don't know
anybody
why.
that'll put up with
If
him
I-
for an hour.
If I only show up once in a while, do I still count?
Yes.
Of course. Well,
Of course you count.
listen, to me, it's noticeable that when you don't show up. So
Why?
You know.
Because you can get a word in?
no, no. It has nothing to do with that. No, it's just 'cause you're not here. You see, I'm the one that has a problem because I do all this talking. I'm trying not to talk. So
Yeah, you're doing a good job.
Oh,
because I'm working.
well, okay, since I have to be perky again tonight, I'm going to sign out.
It was good seeing you, Bonnie.
It was great seeing
I
everyone.
say you.
Nice to
Okay.
see you.
Yeah,
Take care.
yeah.
If I can remember how to get out of here. Come on.
So Oscar, you're
Is
soon
it
you're
next
soon going to be on
Tuesday?
the.
Oh no, it's the 9th. Never mind. We're not judging
What was
next
that?
Tuesday. It's 2 Tuesdays.
A week after.
Yeah. How many do you have? How many people signed up already?
About 8.
It's not enough. We
No.
need 20.
I know. But normally we get more as we get closer to the deadline,
Okay.
What's the date for it?
the 9th.
So I bet in the new year, people will.
Well, this week is the time for people to get their act together.
They got time. So what you was asking, Allison?
What act?
Oh yeah, so you're soon going to be heading off, aren't you?
Yeah, Tuesday for now. Now, when they're doing the jury, I should be in Florida. And the
Oh.
good thing that they're doing that jury that day because then I don't have to worry about Larry's meeting. I can just escape
Right.
it.
There you go.
Yeah.
I can settle down, go into down to the town, get some tacos, come back, and depending on what time it is, I might join one of the meetings in the afternoon.
Hey, yeah, it's Taco Tuesday.
Yeah.
Taco Tuesday. Hey, is anybody going to watch the St. Louis mock jury?
When is that?
I don't know. I think it's around the 20th. Let's see. Yeah, it is. It's the 20th.
Hey,
If I'm
I
free,
should
can
I
join
should
this.
do it. I should do it just to have them tell me or to make comments on how bad my images are.
Well, I did that I actually applied with images I shot in the mid-90s. Just out of curiosity.
Yeah,
And
that was a joke, Larry, because I'm using your images that you.
No, I know, but they're only charging $10 to apply because they're using Zap. So I figured, what the hell, I'll submit a set of images.
It probably wouldn't be taken in a positive way, but I almost feel like taking shots of Picasso's ceramics and just entering that and seeing what the reaction. See if anybody
Right.
notices.
Yeah, the Jerzy Kosinski syndrome.
What?
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Uh,
He's a famous author, and
oh yeah,
a student
Lolita.
took one of his books and submitted it and got
Oh,
rejected.
really?
Yeah.
Lolita was Nabokov.
so I had a really weird dream where I was talking to a former student and they were pissed that they didn't get into a show. And I said, well, show me what got in. And it was photographs of car headrests. There was a photographer's. I don't know how to read into that.
That's really weird.
And it was ridiculous that is what got in, as a subject matter.
Is that what you were saying? You couldn't believe it?
Yeah.
The good thing is you wake up and you go, oh, that was just a dream, not a nightmare.
Right.
Oh, I don't know. Some shows I've done lately, and I'm going to try not to do them. It's like what a bunch of junk. Like what, did they need Alka-Seltzer after they were done looking at this stuff? I mean, there's been some shows that the stuff's really bad. At least I think so. And the reality is, don't do those shows.
It's kind of funny. I went from 4 hours of work for this week to 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9 to 12 hours. And it's only Tuesday.
It's perfectly understandable. People are having parties and they want to impress their friends. So they had you come and hang their work.
Yeah, I'm not complaining because I was worried.
At least you didn't fall.
I don't want to say, I'm kind of glad that I'm doing this because I was debating if next year I wanted to stay this long in Chicago, probably just go early, but I have nothing to do when I'm in Florida for this long time. It also depends on what shows I get in. So we see. We see. But people are getting a little bit scared about when I told them now it's $100 to hang a piece. But
Well,
Well-
either they have to hammer nails into their wall themselves.
it's not just that, it's just like it depends how
Don't worry about it. They can afford it.
Yeah. It's more about if they can afford to do it. Most of the people that I work, they're all capable of doing it, but some people say, you know, I can do it, it might take me the whole day to do it. I'd rather pay you 2 hours of your time than me spending the whole day doing something that I hate, and then my wife is going to be pissed off at me.
Right, exactly. That's the whole point in hiring someone.
Yeah.
I mean, so, you know, it costs what it costs.
Yeah,
And also,
plus,
what happened? The other thing that
you know, some of the
what
places
happened,
where
they
you have to
mentioned those.
climb up are dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't do it.
And some things you know, most of the time the people hire me is for doing complicated stuff. It's not what people think it is all the time.
Right.
I mean,
So,
hey, look what happened to Ancesar,
yeah,
Marin.
To
He
what?
fell off the ladder. He's still not right. And that was like 2 years ago now.
no, that's permanent damage, dude. That's how he's going to be for the rest of his life, basically.
Yeah.
That was really, really bad. So
You know those.
I
You you had a photo up of those small, whatever they were. I didn't know what they were. Paintings or drawings, whatever they were, and there was like 20 of them. You know,
that's
by steps. I think they were. That's got to be dangerous, Oscar.
you get used to.
Oscar, do you bring your own ladder with you?
Yeah, I always have. Mark Hirsch wasn't hanging something for him, and he go to the back to talk to me while I'm putting the tools, and he say, "Do you have enough ladders?" so I said, like, I
Well,
know.
because you know those ladders rather than somebody's rickety broken ladder. That's why I was curious.
Yeah, no, I always bring my own ladder. It's
Yeah.
you know, I got in the band. I literally have uh 3 ladders, uh 2 platforms. So it depends on you know, and I need to get a small stool, but I don't know. I just prefer using the stool on the person because that way I know the stool never been outside, and
Hmm.
I'm not going to get a chance of, you know, doing something weird out of my control. So we see. So no, but I'm happy with it. It's just like more people. I wish I get more. It's been a down year for that, but I still doing decent with it, so I'm not complaining. So
Hmm.
it's just that it's kind of funny because last month it was like every week it was like a 20 to 30 hours, and something like this month it's been like a 10 hours a week. So it's like a big drop, like from really
Yeah.
really busy to barely scraping. And then this is how it is the next 3 months. That's when I go to Florida. Because you're just scraping by just to get work, and you might get one good week, and then the rest of the weeks are really slow.
Hmm. Time of year,
And
probably.
what?
Time of year, probably.
Yeah, what I find out was that most of my people they hire me on the regular basis, they're out of town from January
Oh.
1st all to April.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Snowbirds.
Yep. So, and sometimes I see them in the shows down there in Florida, which is hilarious.
Oh.
So it's a good feeling. But I'm super excited, looking forward. And everything is
too.
going to work out.
We haven't had any snow.
Hey, don't Barry, I'm telling you, don't the I'm bet you the next week, I'm leaving on the 7th. I bet you next week we get a snowstorm in Chicago. Because it always happen. The week before I leave, it snows really, really bad.
Well, for me, it would be like I'm firing pots that week outside, so it's holding on till then. If I could get lucky and have it like when after I've left for Florida, I won't even see any snow. That'd be like the first time ever.
We've had snow.
None here. Except the mountains.
Well, yeah.
Well, if you
Well, it's
get snow
unusual
out
here.
there, I'm gonna tell you you're in trouble. Snow in San Diego, we in trouble. Really, really bad. We better start running to the hills.
Well, occasionally there have been, a few flakes coming down, and that's when, kids run out of their classrooms to go look at it. Teachers let them because it's such an unusual occurrence.
Yes, it would have to be so cold there, shockingly cold.
Well, it's more that it's something that's drifting by and, release a few things and then sometimes doesn't even last as long enough to hit the ground.
Right.
But just the fact that there were flakes coming down was enough.
I know sometimes in the Bay Area we'd get snow on the local mountains.
Yeah.
Dustings.
Yeah. Well, our mountains do get like, where you have to have chains to come here type snow.
Right.
Oh wow.
So.
That's the one thing about driving from Chicago to Oregon or to Washington State is that you go to certain section that you go, please put your chains on, please take your chains off, please put your chains on, take your chains off. And I go like, how bad the snow had to be in here. And then you start seeing the inclination and you go like, yep, I can see why. So
yeah, it's not inches, it's feet.
Yeah. When I went to do Utah a few years ago, I went to Arches Park first, and I stopped in a rest stop to sleep, and I was looking at the ground. This is June, and I go like, what is that white stuff in the ground?
Yeah.
And I go like, oh, that is snow. I just go like, holy cow.
And it's really out west.
Yeah.
It's out west. A lot of it is about altitude, where you'll see that snow in June.
Yeah. So I was in shock. I wasn't expecting that basically. So, but you live and learn,
Yeah.
We've had flakes here in July.
Oh, I will be crying. I would be crying.
Just a few flakes.
Definitely. I will be like no. I got a hard time with the idea of turning the furnace onto June.
Although last June, the second day of Old Town, it was really cold.
Yeah, that's what I'm not turning the furnace until end of June.
I mean, it was so cold that people didn't come out, I remember.
Yeah. It's it's been interesting to say the least.
Is it still a nighttime setup, early morning setup?
No, no, you set up the day before
Ah, then I'll finish filling out that application.
on Friday. Right, it's a 2-day show, but you set up on Friday. And but your setup time could be like at 3 in the afternoon or something, depending on where you are.
But Barry, they told me they're not going to let you in.
Oh, then I won't throw my money away.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm gonna do oops. I'm gonna do Lake Milwaukee Lakefront, so I won't have time to take that back. Milwaukee Lakefront and Cherry Creek. So I'll have to cancel if I get into Chicago.
Well, but
I'm
Cherry
going to
Creek
tell
is
you
so
this.
far.
It's only a couple weeks later.
Hmm.
I'm going to tell you this. If I get into like I'm doing a sphere already, right? If I get to I Square, take the weekend off to that. If I go to 57 Old Town, Lakefront, Des Moines, Cherry Creek, Madison, Ann Arbor, I will be happy.
Yeah, that's
I
not
will
gonna
be happy.
good of you.
I won't be complaining. I won't be bitching. I will be happy.
You'll be complaining that you don't have enough work.
Oh, I would have enough work. Don't worry about it. Oh, I will be jumping up and down.
Well, don't cancel Ann Arbor because I need to have you there. It's more fun. I don't want to be there just with Parker and Kristen.
Don't say that too loud. They're going to hear you.
I don't care.
Oh no.
So
If I get into it, I get into it. I don't worry about those things.
Oh no. Hey, that wasn't a negative.
Yeah.
I like being with Kristen and I like being with Parker. That wasn't a negative.
No, I know what I'm saying, but I'm saying to you, hopefully I get in. There's no guarantee in anything of these things lately. So
I think you're automatically in Ann Arbor.
well, I hope so.
If you paid your dues.
Which I did already.
Yeah, you had to.
I just need to pay the booth fee.
Yeah, it's a pet peeve for me because they ask for the money so far in advance. I mean, they want the money in January for a July show.
I think it was in February they won the money.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was. No, maybe you're right. I
I
remember
could be
looking
wrong.
at it and going, I need at least some February shows to be able to. I can pay for it, but I want a cash flow on
Yeah,
it.
but you don't want to be broke neither.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
It gets really tight really fast. I didn't realize how bad it is. Like I'm dying to start doing shows again.
Yeah, and I just bought a new van, so
You have to.
That's the problem, that sometimes you get forced to do things that you shouldn't be doing, but you don't have no choice in the matter. So Steve was like, I need to go. He didn't want to do it, but he had to go today and buy the super new computer
why?
because the other one though it was doing like something in the screen.
Yeah.
It's lining the screens, and he cannot handle it.
Oh, yeah.
So
Is that a laptop?
yeah,
I mean, you can get an adequate one. It doesn't have to be really expensive.
well, the things like they're all really expensive. There's
Is it a
nothing
Mac or
like
is it a PC?
even the even the PCs are expensive. They're not cheap. They are
You can buy
cheaper, but they're not
apples.
cheap.
You can buy apples at 0% and just pay it off over time with no interest.
Yeah, I still don't have that credit yet. Maybe by the end of next year. I'm still recovering from that shit.
Oh yeah.
Don't you get if you pay off your credit cards every month or a credit card, your score goes up pretty fast.
I know it's going up, but also this time of the year, I put a lot of the show fees in the cars because I don't want to be cashless for this time of the year. So when February runs, then I bring all the cars down to zero again if things go normal. Like
Yeah, I
my
pay
goal
off
for next year is to be, my goal for next year is to be out of debt. Like I'm not going to buy anything that I don't need and just pay off everything. Because I was looking at how much I get for Social Security and 12 years from now. it
It might be done with by then.
No,
well,
that
Right.
depends
hopefully
on
it
who's
won't.
president. Nah, you know what? They've been saying that for 40 years, 50
Yeah, but
years.
you know what? If a certain person gets elected, then
Still not going to
it
happen.
may
He was
be.
president. He was president. And it was a Republican Congress, and they didn't get rid of it.
Well, wouldn't put anything past him. I just hope that nightmare doesn't happen. But anyway, that's something I
You know,
think
the
they'll get
problem is
rid
if
of.
they
And
do that, they will have to reimburse all that tax money that they took.
no, they
It's
don't.
your money.
If it's
It's your
no, if
money.
it's
You
a,
put your money
if
into it.
it's
You're just getting it
stop.
back.
If it's a stop. If it's a dictatorship, they can do whatever the hell they want.
I know.
I mean, seriously, they could say too bad. You know, all the money that we put into Social Security. I mean, they could say, so what? Come and get it.
Yeah. See, I don't think it's going to happen. So,
Well, I hope you're right. I mean, because it would be a nightmare. I mean, the good thing is
That
they're
would
not so
already-
organized. What?
I think that would be really bad because it will be the entire country will be fucked. Doesn't matter who, which party line you are.
Right.
The only thing that will be like if you vote for him, this is what you get. You didn't listen to us. There you go. Go and pray to God now to make
Right.
money so he can pay your bills.
he has the most votes in all the mock juries and all the the elections. He has the most votes at the moment. The part that's really weird is don't these people like go, hey, he's a criminal. He's been impeached twice. Doesn't that say something? Isn't that
It's a
like,
cult.
oh, we don't care.
Yeah, but then, Barry, you're gonna have like these young people. They're not all young, but there's this linear thinking, this one issue type of voter who's not going to vote for the Democrat.
Well, that's a problem.
Yes, it's a huge
Because
problem.
when they quiz these kids, like these college kids, about just general knowledge, they're idiots. Today, I mean, how do you get in? How do you get into Harvard with with the scores that you're getting or your lack of.
Well, you get into Harvard if you're a legacy and your parents went there. So not
That's only
such a hard thing.
That's only some people.
Right.
Yeah, well, it's always been that way. At least for for the Ivy League schools. And you know what? Then they run for president. You can't
I
pick a
know.
president, for the last 50 years. It's all the same. It's all those elitist, comes from elitist family. It doesn't matter whether they're Republican
Right.
or Democrats. It's the same thing.
Well, Biden didn't go to Yale or Harvard.
Did he go to University of Delaware?
Maybe, and I don't remember.
Are you sure about that?
No.
I think he did go to University of Delaware. He's also getting attacked mercilessly for being senile, and I don't get it because I don't see that.
It's ageism. Because the other candidate is, almost as old as well.
And
Sure.
is senile.
The other candidate you're talking about. Although Nikki Haley might get in there. What do you think of Nikki Haley?
She's right wing. I mean, she
She's
will
horrible.
have a national abortion ban. So
No,
much for
she's gonna
states'
do
rights. They're so into states' rights, except when it's convenient for them to have
That's
the
right.
federal government.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Isn't that true?
Just to let you know, Nikki Haley believes in 15 weeks abortion. She will not do a ban. She said that firmly that she will not do a ban less than 15 weeks. If you don't know
She's
you're not
lying.
pregnant by 15 weeks, something is wrong.
Well,
Well,
we
maybe
had
she's
several-
lying.
No,
but
Oscar, it's not the government's decision to make in the first place. And it's a human rights issue as defined by the United Nations. So, I mean,
God.
I'm
what's
just telling
happening now is the
you.
human rights. She's right
I
wing.
just
She's
telling you
just a
what she
fanatic. She's
I
a
just
what is
telling you
it?
what
A
she said.
sheep in wool's clothing, or what's the?
wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yes, a wolf. Thank you.
But
I'm
she is
bad at
sheep in
cliches.
wolf's clothing.
Hey, would you rather have a left-wing fanatic or a right-wing fanatic? Is in there?
What
No
about
fanatic.
neither? I
Huh?
will tell you neither.
Well,
But if
Neither.
I need
There's
to
no
pick up
left-
between one and the other one, I will take the left one.
there's no left wing fanatic
Are you kidding me?
running.
There's way more left-wing fanatics than right-wing fanatics. I will
Uh-uh.
never vote
There's-
for a left-wing fanatic.
Very, there 30% of the population supports a right wing fanatic. So, I mean, on the left, it's a much lower percentage.
Well, I'd still not voting for one.
And you can vote for whoever you want to.
I
But
know.
I don't think there's anyone really in the running on the left that's a fanatic.
Well, they wouldn't get elected. They won't get to the point where I can reject them. Hopefully.
Uh,
See, I like Biden. I think Biden's done a great job. And I know Republicans, I know people on the right, and they refuse to acknowledge anything decent that he's done. And he's done a lot
Right.
of
And
really
there's a
good
whole-
things.
and it's a whole list that
That's
even
right.
people on
That's
the
right.
left.
And many of them are it's like a right wing, he leans to the right on some issues because he's a centrist. So
He's
they
centrist,
just reject
exactly.
him out of it's Biden, he doesn't
Well,
make
but
any
that's the
sense.
thing. It's the knee jerk. People want purity in their candidate, like 100% purity, and
Yeah.
you're not going to get that.
I
I mean, they're
know.
human.
Oh, folks, I'm going to
So,
let you go. I will talk to you later.
All right.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you. Don't work too hard. 2 more
I should
weeks.
probably go.
2 more Tuesdays, I will be in Florida. Yes.
Is that something to be excited about? I suppose for you it is.
Well, it'll be
It
warmer.
is.
And I'll be there 2 weeks later.
What?
I'll be there 2 weeks later.
Yeah, I will be down there. Allison, it's just, it will be warmer. I'll be with friends.
Unless I get done early. He asked her if I
Yeah.
get down early, I'll come down early. Come down to Palmdale.
Just let me know when you get there.
Okay.
And then I can make money. And then after 3 months, I've run out of the state. You're frozen, Allison.
What?
You're frozen.
No, not for
Oh,
me.
I
no,
only
no.
go, I only go down there. Honestly, Allison, the only reason why I go to Florida is because my experience is I never make enough money to be with no shows between October to May. So
I go,
Uh-huh.
'cause I need a cash flow.
so that's too long with no income coming in, or just depending on
Right.
installations. So that's what I
You know,
started doing
I did pretty well last year. I'm not, it's been a couple months for me, and I'm still doing okay. Even though I put down a huge chunk of money on a vehicle,
It's all about
and I increased,
the
and I
cash
bought
flow.
like real health insurance.
Yeah. So
So I hope
and
it
my health
continues.
insurance went down. So Will answer to put in Facebook, what is your favorite album from the past year? And I say like, what kind of album you're talking about?
Mhm.
And he respond, a musical or recording or a long play platter disc download.
Hey, you know what? People that are worried about the economy should not be worried about it. Or at least, okay, let me rephrase that. With us, if the stock market does well, people will have extra money to buy things, and they're lowering the interest rate. They're saying the interest rates are starting to come down, and which means that the market's going up is going to be really healthy. So we should not be having any problems in Florida.
But I have a problem. Gold is over, it's $2,050. It's really high. And I don't have to buy any right now. But
What is? Oh yeah, gold.
gold. I mean, it's phenomenally high, even though the stock market's going up. I think you get your what do you call them? People who are thinking that if the apocalypse happens, they'll be able to use gold, which I don't know how that works because you can't eat gold, but
It's ridiculous. Actually, you
but
know what,
anyway,
Allison?
it's yeah.
What you're supposed to do, and I'm not saying this like because most people can't do this, but when prices are down, that's when you buy the gold. You stockpile the gold so you don't have to buy it during these times.
Right.
Now I know
Well,
that.
in 2001, gold was really low, and I said this would be the time to buy it,
Yeah.
but I didn't have the money, to do
Yeah,
that.
that's what I'm saying.
So in the meantime, though, it doesn't actually make sense why it is this high in the first place. I mean,
It's cyclical. The
it's
prices might be coming down because
survival.
if interest rates
It's
come down,
survivalist.
huh?
It's survivalists thinking,
Well, the
they need to
fear.
stockpile gold. Yeah.
If they're looking at the advertising,
Mhm.
that imploring people to buy gold and not actually looking at what really happens, that
It's a
those are the
terrible
people buying
investment.
gold.
It's really a terrible investment to buy gold because, I mean, yeah. But anyway, it's kind of a drag for me. And hopefully it'll go down in the new year.
Survivalists, you mean nutcases?
Yeah. I mean, I think that having I don't know, a cow would be much more valuable than
That's right.
having gold. Because
Well,
you can at least, you
how about a
can at
garden?
least get A
don't know.
garden, right?
Hay has gone up tremendously.
What has?
Hay,
Hey,
Oh,
feed for livestock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hay's for horses.
yeah,
Yeah, for cows too.
Huh. Why did that go up, I wonder? Inflation?
Um, bad weather and stuff affected the crop.
Oh, I see.
My
Hmm.
brother has cattle, and
Mm-hmm.
long time ago it was like $10 a bale, and
Yeah.
that went up to 40 a couple of years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
he had to pay 90 not too long ago.
Oh, wow.
My aunt has a horse, and yeah, she says that it's really plus the vet bill when you're in the city for a horse isn't cheap.
Right.
So yeah, she said $90 a bale.
Huh. Wow.
Something that used to maybe cost her 15 to 20.
Yeah. That's substantial.
Might be cheaper to have gold. It doesn't eat at least.
Right. But I mean, like with gold, it
I know.
it has its purposes, in industry and all that. But I mean,
Well,
you
you could use
know,
your particular industry. I don't know if you could like take a bar and melt it down for what you're doing, but
well, I
know.
could, and alloy it and all that. But
how do you buy gold?
pardon?
How do you buy gold for your work?
Oh, I buy it in sheet and wire, and then I save all my scraps, and I can melt that down and roll it out. It's really, if I were to buy, they call it shot, and melt and roll everything I use, it's really not cost effective because of the labor, and it's not that much more expensive to buy it in the form of sheet or wire. So, so I buy sheet wire and tubing, and any of the scraps of that, I never send in to be refined. I just melt it down and roll it out again into something else I need.
Is there
So there's
price
never
resistance with
any
jewelry?
with what?
Price resistance with jewelry. In other words,
So
you pay X amount of dollars for the gold, so you have to charge more. Is that a problem? Ever?
no, so my work is more. I mean, there's more labor in it that raises the price. But my jewelry isn't also regular jewelry. Like we've been advertised to that at certain moments of our life we get a piece of jewelry for this or that. My jewelry doesn't fit that, so it's as far as price resistance, I mean, people could afford it or they can't, but it doesn't really come into play like where they could go somewhere else and find it cheaper, for example. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
For me, it was more like they like your work, but is it ever too expensive? In other words, if you have to pay more for the gold, so you have to raise your price, does it affect your sales?
No,
Because
it has not been an issue.
yeah. So then theoretically, the price of gold shouldn't affect you.
Except that I have to lay out the money, right? Because I'm making most everything on spec.
Well,
So I don't
also
know.
affect her costs. Because
Actually,
she has
Right.
the
you're making more money.
publication fee on top of the spot price.
Mhm.
The more
That's
expensive
right.
the gold is, the more money dollar wise you make, because if it's a function of percentage,
Well, but the thing is, my work is mostly labor.
yeah,
So there's that. I mean, obviously so I made a brand new bracelet. I kind of have a standard price for my bracelets, but the stones, not the gold, the stones that I chose to use are substantially more expensive than other bracelets I've made. And so this one has to be higher price.
yeah.
So that is a place where the cost of my materials does affect the price.
You have to explain it to people.
I think if
Mostly
they're buying
no. I
art
mean,
jewelry, they know it's going to be expensive. I mean, they go in there knowing that.
well, and then there's like, if something is like $4,000 and you can only afford $200, then you can't afford it. I mean, I can't.
If you
No,
did,
And so
that's it. Yeah, what I'm saying, that's not what I'm saying. Those are two different customers. But if it's $4,000, but you have to charge 4,500, is that different? Or if it's 3,600, but you have to charge
No.
4,000,
that's
does anybody care?
that's not no. And a lot of my work like that is one of a kind anyway.
Yeah.
So you can't compare it to something else.
Well,
But yeah,
is
no,
there-
that's not an issue.
Is there a price beyond where it isn't going to sell? Like if you mark that $4,000 piece, $10,000, would that make a difference?
I had one piece that was $12,000. I sold
Yeah.
it, and what I thought to myself is, if I don't have a $12,000 piece, I can't sell it. So that's the whole thing. That's generally not my price point.
Yeah.
But that had like a huge opal in it, and I think it took me like 10 months to make. But so I don't think there's a cap. I think that if you don't have it, you can't sell it. More like that.
Yeah.
Does that make
Do you
sense?
show those pieces in your booth? And if you had a $12,000 piece, would you have it in your booth, or would you be so afraid that somebody's going to try and steal it? That it
I
would
wasn't
attract
afraid of
attention?
somebody stealing. I wasn't afraid of someone stealing it. What would happen is people would see that piece, and then they'd see the price and say, "Oh, I can't afford your work." So I took it out.
Yeah, that's a problem.
But first I took the price away, but I actually sold it and it was not in my case. So what I started doing is, if people liked opals, or they just liked my work and wanted to see what else I had, I would take it out,
Mhm.
so people could try it on. So it was more like that, because it's so much higher than the rest of my price point that it was a distraction.
Really?
Yeah. But again, I don't have one now, so now I can't sell it.
You don't have one because you didn't price it at that price.
Well, because I don't have something that is that value in existence right now.
In your mind.
I could make
Okay.
no, I could make something. I mean, I have, I could make something, but it just I don't work by price anyway.
Yeah.
I make things, and there's certain repeated designs where I wouldn't use more expensive stones because I want to keep it at a certain price. But then
Mhm.
if somebody wants something custom, then it might be more. Let's just say they want I don't know, a sapphire or something, and so yeah. But I don't set out to make things in certain prices of like one of a kind pieces. So like what I'm working on now will probably fit into a certain price range, but I don't limit what I'm using in it to stick in that price range, because I want to use the stones that speak to me and all of that.
Hey, guys.
time to feed the puppy.
Yep.
Okay,
All right. Well, have a good one.
next year.
Absolutely.
See you next
Next
year.
year, that's right. Wow, how scary. Okay. Happy New Year.
Yep.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Oh, careful, Barry. You're gonna break it.
I almost knocked a piece over. But I stopped myself. All right, kiddies. See you later.
Everybody's gone except me.
Well, that's